Hey guys, it's Leroy from Rack and Roll. Just showing you how our swing away goes together, how it works, a few little tricks. We'll start off when you get it out of the box. We just call this the stub. You put that in your tow bar. It's a little trick with this bolt. As you tighten the bolt, it brings a tab out the side of the tube. So when you slide it in to your receiver, first thing you do, we've got these shims. There's two different thicknesses. They go together like that. So obviously the one with the slot in it's for your hitch pin to go through. So the shims have to go on the opposite side to the tab. So otherwise I won't let the tab come out. So as you slide the stub in, you can just feed a shim in, pick out which one's going to fit. Sometimes you can get a shim on the top, or underneath is better. As I say, some cars can use one shim, some use two, some use none. All receivers are slightly different size. So once you get your shim in, then you'll nip this up. So just give that till you feel it tighten on the side of the receiver. That'll lock into the receiver. Then we have this bracket. This is our standard anti-tilt bracket. So the welded tab, this tab that's welded, has to press onto the bike rack. So it goes like that. On your receiver, if it has a plastic cover, it says Nissan or Toyota, or it's chrome, you've just got to rip that off first. There'll be a ring going around the face of the receiver that stays on there. So then you'll put on the anti-tilt bracket, and then we just have a washer and a nylock. Do that up tight, and that's it. That'll be rock solid in your receiver. So next up, we take the body of the swing away, and there's three mounting holes here. These three holes obviously drop into these three holes. So what we do is fit the two outer bolts first. All our stuff, you have a washer each side, then a nylock, and then with the third bolt, the center bolt, we have this little bracket. It's just a little folded bracket. It's going to sit on top of this nut. So you just push it through, same as the others. Washer on the other side, then a nylock. So then you'll tighten the three of them. Once they're tight, you can give them a good nip. This bolt down here, you just get a spanner and it's just a little jacking bolt to help as a brace. So you'll just tighten that bolt. Should have got a spanner. Wrong size. Tighten that bolt at the top till it just puts some pressure on this plate, and then there's a nut at the bottom. See that nut? Then you'll just nip that nut back down onto the tube. And then that's it. That's the body, the stub and the body assembled. I'll show you a bit how this swing away works. We have these two locking bolts. We give everyone a ratchet spanner, so when you want to open it, it's just a matter of quickly ratcheting it open. The reason we went with this setup is we've experimented with over-center latches. They're useless. When you crank it down, when an over-center latch shuts, it actually releases a millimeter, and that lets everything bounce around. Whereas when you crank these two bolts down, it pulls this 10mm plate down onto the tube, and everything is rock solid. There's no movement. So if you're just going on a 1 hour drive, like the shear on one of these bolts is 3.5 ton. So around town, your normal everyday ride and bit of a trip, you don't need 2 bolts. 1 bolt does the job fine. If you're going around Australia, you can run your 2 bolts. So when you want to open the swing away, just grab your spanner, rip these out. One of them, there's a slot in the tube here. There's 2 positions there, 90 and 135. So to lock it open, you just drop it through, drops into the hole. Something else with this setup, if you ever damage a bolt, obviously you can get a bolt anywhere. The same with the nuts. If you need to change the nuts, pull out the end cap, undo these 2 bolts. There's a plate will slide out. You can remove the nut, put in new nuts, slide it back in, do that up, you're back in business. So that's all replaceable. So it's not a big deal to That's it. That now is completely cranked down onto the bottom tube. Everything's rock solid. The another feature, I guess, with our swing away is when you go to open it, because all our carriers are supplied with LED light kits, so we make a jump loom, so that'll plug into your vehicle, 7-flat plug. We take the cable through the tube, it's got grommets in it, in the bottom tube, out the top tube, and then have a female plug here. So when you open the light, when you open the swing away, you don't have to do anything with the lights. The cable runs through, there's no unplugging lights. You don't have to remember to do anything there. Next up, we'll fit the bar for the e-bike carrier. This is the main bar. So that just slides in. The main bar has these 2 holes in it, which on the stub, the other thing we do, a lot of companies make swing aways for bike racks, but a lot of them are specific to their bike rack. We use a receiver tube because then you can put anything in there. Down the track, you might want to make up a base that carries jerry cans and some water, something like that. You can use it for a lot of different things. Anyway, with this tube, you just slide it in. Line, obviously, the holes up. One side of the receiver has 13mm hole, the other side has 22mm hole. And it's a bit hard to see there, but we use this bolt and a bush setup. So they're 12mm bushes with laser at a 12mm plate. So basically the bush goes through the big hole, inside the tube, and then we just run a nut and a 9-lock on the other side. There's 2 of those. So see, as you tighten the bolt, the bush pushes into and onto the face of the inner tube, and it locks it up rock solid. There's no movement. So between pulling down on there, these 2 to shut the swing away, and these 2 with the bushes locking up the bike rack tube, you really get a rock solid connection to everything. Something to be aware of when you're assembling the swing away, we can make it specific to what side of the vehicle you want to open to. So you can either open to the passenger side or open to the driver's side. This is opening to the passenger side. When you go to assemble your e-bike carrier or your bike carrier, we're doing a separate video for that with the how to put the bike rack together, because not everyone gets a swing away. But if you're something to be aware of with your swing away, if your swing away opens to the passenger side, then the outside bike has to face the passenger side of the vehicle. So your bike, the outside bike, has to face the same way that the swing away opens. You swing to the driver's side, the outside bike's got to face the driver's side. That's to do with our tie-down bars and how you secure the bike, otherwise they'll foul on the swing away. And the only other trick I do with the swing away to show you is the loading ramp, if you get a loading ramp. We have this bracket that the folded edge faces the bike rack, goes on, sits, there's a hole there, obviously. That, just because of the size of the bolts, there's a little bit of a trick with what do. Put 2 washers below. It comes taped anyway, so you don't have to do what I'm doing, worry about it. But the bolt goes up from underneath. Bracket goes on. Just to give us a bit of height, so the ramp sits on this tab. Couple of washers, spring washer, standard nut. Do that up tight. Then the same with the loading ramp. When you go to load the bike, this tab and this cup head bolt, goes through the bike channel, through the tabs here, and locks the ramp on, so it can't fall or do anything when you're loading the bike. But this is the same trick, is if your swing away opens to the passenger side, the outer bike faces the passenger side, this tab has got to face the passenger side as well. Then it just sits on, drops on your holes there. Before I do that, we have a strap. So we're going to add another slot in here, but another thing we do with this sort of ramps, just feed your strap from underneath. Sticks there. The ramp drops on a hole. This cup head we use to lock it down. Use your bolt, just give that a crank to tighten. This bolt and this R-clip, the bike channel has these matching holes in it, so we just store it in the back of the bike channel. It'll be down here somewhere. You can put it through, put the pin in it, then it's always there. And then it's just then the strap is just a backup for your. The strap goes in the back. Press down on the buckle and out the front. It's just a backup, stop everything slipping around. A bit of slack, just pull up underneath. And that's it. But for the rest of that, putting the e-bike carrier together, on the website there's a video assembling an e-bike carrier.